A cool, controlled, workman-like performance by one Oscar Piastri in this weekend's 2025 Spanish Grand Prix. It was his 7th career victory.
5th.
7th career victory.
I thought it was his 5th.
7th career victory.
I think it was 5th. Sherman's going to put up here who was right.
I'm right. I looked this stuff up because I do research and you don't. Okay, so it's his 7th career victory. His 8th podium in a row.
Dang. Was
overshadowed by a controversial ending involving one Mad Max Verstappen. And
Mad Max saw the red mist, very clear.
And Gorgous George Russell. And as always, if you're new to the channel, we'd love you to subscribe. Remember to hit that like button and leave your comments down below. Stay with Mike and I as we recap the 2025 Spanish Grand Prix right here at...
Yeah, America F1. America F1. It's a golden run. America F1.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Mike?
Sure.
That race was crazy, dude.
I'm not really, but it was when Antonelli blew up because it was real boring up until that point. And then they got a safety car out and they scrunched everyone back up together. And for some reason, they put Max on a set of hard tires at the end when it was like, he almost crashed coming off of the last corner.
Dude, what a save that was. He was like that, and then he caught that rear end and he caught it.
Well, for a second, I'm like, is Sherman driving this car? What's going on? Anyways.
And I caught it just like he did. I would have caught it just like he did. But you know what confounds me, Mike? And why didn't they... Okay, so there's only like 6 laps left. Okay, after the car goes in at like lap 61.
Yeah.
Okay.
They made a boo-boo, that's all.
So you could keep track positions because both McLarens went in the pit. Both, not just one.
He would have been passed by both of them if he stayed out.
But would he have been passed by Leclerc? I don't think so. I think he would have got a podium there.
Oh, he lost out to Leclerc, but Hulkenberg is the guy I want to talk about.
Well, we'll talk about him later. But what I'm saying is if they leave him out, he has track position. We know Norris is probably going to pass him. Oscar's going to pass him. But I think he holds off Charles Leclerc. And he gets third. He gets the podium. We're not talking about red mist. We're not talking about Max purposely hitting Gorgous George Russell. We're not talking about any of that. What we're talking about is how did Max save this and get on the podium at the Spanish Grand Prix? That's what we'd be talking about. But we're not talking about that.
Because he didn't get on the podium.
And because they put him on the hards. Which he was going like, why'd you put me on this? And I think he was a little upset about that.
Oh, no, he was totally upset about it, especially coming off the corner and almost,
So you got that. Then you got going down the straight, him and Charles Leclerc bumping into each other.
That was nothing, though.
But Charles made a legit pass. Now, whose fault is that? Was it... Because Max looked like he should have gave him a little run. I mean, he's coming right by him.
It's both of their fault. They hit each other. It's just that happens sometimes. It's
down the straight.
It was a racing incident.
All right.
Because it takes 2 people to cause an accident.
So that's a racing incident.
Now, when Max hit Russell, that was totally on purpose. And I have no idea why he did that.
But before he did that, George and him kind of came together and he ran off onto the runoff.
Yeah, he went up to the runoff.
And then came back on, which I thought was legit because, well... Max was kind of ahead at the time. Neither one of them was really ahead. And he just came back on and took the place back where he was.
What I can't figure out is why he hit him and then 2 corners later, he let him go by.
Well, because the team told him to let him go by.
Yeah, he
was
not happy.
Here's my question to you on that one is, one, the team was wrong in telling him to give that place back because the FIA had said it was just a racing incident, so he didn't have to do that because he was ahead.
Well,
so that pissed him off too.
Well, no, the rule is if you guys take care of it, and we're not going to give you a penalty. So basically, it's a unwritten rule that if you go by somebody and like the way he did it and gain an advantage by going off the track or staying on the track, you have to give the position back. So they knew if he didn't do that, they probably would have given him a fine.
But then they came out afterwards and said that, no, we wouldn't have gave him a fine.
Well, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah.
All right.
So you got that. Then
the team made the team made two stupid decisions, not one stupid decision to go on the hard tire. So
now you take all that into consideration, and then you have the build-up, and Max is already that damn Russell, and they already don't like each other. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So then the team says, let him go by. He lets him go by, and it's calculated. You can see he's looking back to see where...
Oh, no, he let him totally go by.
He let him go by, but then he's looking at where he's at, and then he runs into him.
I have no idea why he did that. It made no sense. Well, what did Russell do?
Russell didn't do anything. It's not Russell, but he saw it was Russell.
Racing. They're just and coming off that last corner when he he slowed himself down by, he probably lost half a second in that little, it wasn't a little incident, it was a huge, like, oh my God, what just happened? What did I just see?
So they run into each other. Max is today he's kind of taking the blame for it, kind of saying he was sorry about it and blah blah blah, and in the Max way of apologizing.
Like I said, they're racing, and when you should see some of these guys when they're on the where the guys are on the team and they're talking to the drivers and they're doing the strategies. The arguments that those guys get into are hilarious too.
Did you think that was only worth a 10-second penalty though? Since we know he did it on purpose.
Is that what they gave him the penalty for?
10 seconds.
All right. It totally ruined his day. He didn't get it. He shouldn't have hit Russell like that. Because now look at him. He lost how many points? He would have came in what place?
But don't you think that's either a black flag where you're suspended the next race or at least a drive-through? I mean, George Russell got a drive-through at Monaco for cutting a chicane.
Did he?
Yeah. You gave him a drive-through for cutting a chicane. Here's a championship driver who purposely hits another driver and admits to it, and then you have nothing but a 10-second penalty?
Well, he hit him, but he didn't ruin either of those races. George said over the radio that the car is not right. He probably knocked the toe out of the car. That's about it. But they both went on to, finish the race. So that's just a little racing incident. Boys will be boys.
Mike, throughout history of Formula One, talk about some of the other incidents like this, and then let's talk about the penalties that they received.
Well, yeah, you wanted to talk about the Senna penalty for taking. Was it the cutting the chicane he got suspended for, or was it the next year when he took him out?
He took out Prost.
That was
on
for
purpose,
the championship.
Yeah.
He didn't admit it at the time, but a book was written later that he came out and said, "Yeah, I did that on purpose."
That was the 1989, right?
90. It was 89 or 90. What
89.
Prost was
89 Japan.
Prost was at the Ferrari by then because he couldn't take the being teammates with Ayrton Senna. So
Senna got a 6-month suspension and lost the championship because of that.
Well, it was different guys at the time.
But look at what they gave him for doing it. Okay, and then Schumacher, didn't he hit Villeneuve? When did he hit him? 87? 97. And what happened?
It was at Jerez. It was for the championship that day. Whoever came in ahead of each other, I think, won the championship. And Villeneuve and him were fighting for the lead, and Schumacher, Villeneuve went for the dive bomb, and Schumacher drove into him. But Schumacher screwed up that day because he knocked himself out of the race by doing what he did, and he did hurt Villeneuve's car. But Villeneuve finished the race and won the championship. So, and I don't think Michael got did he get a suspension for that? He might have got a suspension for that
race. And then you got Vettel and Hamilton in Baku 2017, where Hamilton's behind the safety car and Vettel
hit him.
Vettel hits him.
Vettel thought he brake checked him.
Yeah, but remember, you control the pace when you're behind the safety car.
Yeah, but anyone knows what a brake check is when you're going in, when you're in a corner and you're coming out of the corner, and when you're applying the gas, you hit the brake and it'll run the guy behind you into him, and it's It's a dirty trick to play. Brake checking.
Except this was not during a race. This was behind a safety car. So you
I
can't
have
really
no idea
claim
why
someone's brake checking you.
Well,
That
that's
means
what
you're following too close.
That's what Vettel said. That he brake checked me, and Hamilton's like, I never did that. I was like, whatever. But see, with the red mist, that's what we're talking about right now. It comes down over a driver's visor, and it's the worst experience I've ever felt in a race car.
What happened?
I forgot how to drive. I mean, I'm coming out of every corner, and I'm making every corner on that track. I was making a mistake, and I'm hitting my head. I'm throwing my hands in the air, completely detached from reality. I get out of the car, and everyone's like, "Dude, you saw the red mist, huh?" And it took me. I was driving back from Sonoma, and I was in the slow lane because I was so mad I didn't want to get pulled over by the police and driving too fast. It took me all the way till I got to the Golden Gate Bridge, and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, okay, now I know what that is." I completely lost my temper, and it happens to everybody. Everyone will do it.
So then also we have Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton in Spain, of all places.
Oh, that was like a whoa.
And you saw that. That was crazy.
Max Verstappen's first race in the Red Bull, and he won the race.
Because both
they were
out.
so much. Their engines were so much better at that time.
So you have this throughout history, and then 10 seconds doesn't seem like it's enough. And the reason why I say that,
I think it hurt him really bad. I think it was a horrible penalty.
Well, yeah. Well, he went from third,
he would have been fourth
to 10th. But still, if you give him 20 seconds, or if it's a drive-through, then he's out of the points, which is I think
he got 1 point or something like that. Isn't that
yeah. And not only did he get 1 point, somehow these knucklehead fans made him driver of the day.
That's funny.
Now, how does this guy get driver of the day when you got Nico Hulkenberg coming from like 16th place to 5th?
And well, if you look at the Red Bull, that car is a handful, and what he's doing with it, and all the commentators were talking about it, how great he was. He was driving great, because if you look at his teammate who qualified last in the same car, and there's big time rumors about Hajar getting the Red Bull seat.
Well, not yet. I hope not yet.
No, Ken Illman said that yesterday or today.
Not yet.
That's what he
said. You'll just ruin.
Well, of course, because he doesn't have what it takes to be in that car.
It'll ruin him.
I don't know if Hajar is the answer.
My take is that maybe they're purposely dunking the second car to make Max look better.
You need to win the Constructors' Championship. The second car is really the most important.
They haven't been thinking about that lately. Yeah, they didn't think about it last year. And then everybody obviously owes Checo an apology, because obviously Checo was doing a lot better than what's going on right now.
A lot better. And they said he was in a slump all the time. I'm like, no, the car sucks. It's like, that's why I'm thinking, I don't think Adrian Newey did this car. I have a feeling because he was doing some hypercar too for Aston.
He did the hypercar.
I don't know because they had the car that won everything in 23, and then they come out with a brand new car, and the Red Bull had some updates to the side pods this weekend. Did you see them?
It's not the updates that I care about. What I notice is that when this controversy happened, where was Christian Horner?
I don't know. Where was he?
Not to be found. he was nowhere in the paddock.
He made a hasty exit. He's like, exit stage right. I'm out this bitch.
And this is the guy who always wants to talk and
he's
always wants to be on camera.
He's a good politician. That's a fact.
Gone.
Well, he was smart because he didn't want nothing to do with this whole Max getting mad thing. It's like.
Then the other thing, it happens to your driver, George Russell. And Toto Wolff is totally the politician. He doesn't blame Max at all. He's just like, well, I haven't seen it. These things can happen. What all matters is that we got the points and they didn't, and that moves up.
See, this is why
in the constructors.
To me, it's not a big deal. It's
put this now. I'm going to take you to a place that you don't want to go. I'm taking you there. Put yourself in Toto Wolff's shoes. Now you want to try to sign Max.
Oh, hell yeah.
Now, at the detriment of your own driver. You don't talk it up. You don't talk about it. You're not talking about a race ban or anything like that because you got to be nice and kid gloves to Max.
Well, I think that George Russell's doing the best job this year because he's got a piece of junk car, but he's been on the podium every race but one or two. Is that?
Well, he wasn't on this podium.
No, but he could have been. How Leclerc sneaked up there, I still have no.
He wasn't on the Monaco podium either.
He wasn't?
No.
Who was on the Monaco?
Charles and two.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. But he was there, right? He was 4th or 5th or something like that?
No, they were out. Both Mercedes were out of the points in Monaco. Remember?
Yeah, that's right.
They didn't want to.
Their car didn't like
pit. Remember, they didn't want to pit.
Oh, okay. And their car didn't like Monaco.
But so what I'm saying is, Toto Wolff is not out there pining, and not only is he not pining because he wants to sign Max, Christian Horner's nowhere to be found. Who's really running Red Bull?
I have no idea.
Is it Max?
And they're going to.
Is Max running the team?
No.
Are they scared of Max?
No, and it's not Max's father either. So
what I'm saying is, how does he get this 10-second penalty? I know Ben Suleiman loves Max. He secretly wants to be Max. I know it. But the kid gloves that he receives constantly.
But they always do that with the star. Remember Michael Jordan he would take like 20 steps before he'd dunk a ball.
Is that the reason why he got such a lenient penalty for this?
Because he's like the most popular driver in Formula One. You know, he's like the best right now. So, and he's getting beat by the McLarens, who are they're not even a factory team. They're what are they called?
Mercedes. They're a customer team.
They're a customer team. That's what I was trying to say, which is really weird because I think all the engines are pretty close now, except for the Renault. The Honda's a good engine. The Ferrari's a good engine.
Now, here's another one I'm going to take you to before we end this segment and move on to Ferrari strategy, as usual.
As usual.
But listen to this one. Max seems, and George Russell was probably right, and you can go back into our catalog and check out our Max versus George episode, and that was sometime maybe 6 or 7 episodes ago. So go back into our catalog and listen to that episode again. Now, George says every time Max is challenged, every time Max has to have some type of thing he needs to overcome, he lashes out and acts like a petulant child.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what he did here. Now, go back, and I know all the Hamilton fans are saying this. Go back to AD 2021. Now, say that Max was Lewis Hamilton and his dad, they had to go through what Lewis Hamilton and his dad went through. We all know when it came down to it, Max would have ran into Lewis so he could win the championship. Yes or no?
What?
Because remember, it was 1 point difference. They were tied. 1 point difference. Max was ahead by 1 point. If Max takes Lewis out, then he still wins the championship. If both cars can't finish.
Yeah.
So I'm saying if the shoe was on the other foot, Lewis was very, he was down and, he handled it like a champion. He didn't pout. He didn't, do all the things. He
doesn't have a car right now and he knows
No, we're talking about the 2021 though.
2021.
AD 2021.
Oh, you mean when Hamilton won his 8th championship and they stole it from him?
Yes. Now, you put the shoe on the other foot, and that's Max. He doesn't handle it. Not only we can see, not only will he not handle it the same way, he would have took Hamilton out to win that damn championship.
Probably.
The proof's in the pudding, right?
I don't know what Max would do. We don't know. He hasn't been in that situation. I just think he just lost his temper the other day. I was like, no big deal. I don't think it's a big deal. You're thinking it's a big deal. It's not. It's funny. That's why Toto Wolff is just like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like Ferrari. They are not having a good year. Because remember these they said they had a revolutionary car coming out that's like a 4th or a 5th place car every week. So
The crazy thing about this whole Ferrari thing.
They got beat by Sauber yesterday. I was like, still can't believe Nico.
We know that was a tire difference. One guy.
But they still got beat by Sauber.
Old sauce and one guy on bread.
And that's a
new one.
Ferrari engine in the back of that bad boy. So,
but here's the crazy thing about this Ferrari strategy. And for all the people who were Mercedes fans who came over to Ferrari because of Lewis Hamilton, they are now getting to understand
the Ferrari
what Ferrari fans have been dealing with for 13 years or longer than that since they won 2007.
And that was a lucky championship.
But, they had a chance in 2018 with Vettel. They had a chance.
Oh, yeah. Then they were leading the championship, and that's when that whole team...
They had a chance also with Alonso.
They blew up the band the next year, too. They came in second in the championship, and they got rid of Benny. And then they got rid of Vettel, which may still to this day is the dumbest decision. And they did it in such a way that he couldn't get a ride for the next year. So he ended up in Aston Martin, remember?
Right.
So.
But all the Mercedes fans are finding out what Ferrari fans have been pulling their hair out. So
they have the curse of Schumacher.
Both cars are under... Leclerc has 2 mediums, so he has the better tire strategy. Okay?
Yeah.
Now... It was very apparent in the first 9 laps that Leclerc had better pace, okay? So why doesn't Ferrari talk about we talked about this before, all the different outcomes. Well, why didn't Ferrari say, hey, if Charles is on a different strategy, okay? If for some reason the pace difference is pretty big, within 1 or 2 laps we're going to make a decision and you're going to have to let Charles by. They let him by, but it seemed like it took a long time. It was obvious that Charles had better pace, but again, they took so long making the decision. And then they bring Hamilton in early. They say, well, we want, and he's asking, why you bring me in so early? And he's saying, well, I want to, we're doing the undercut to George, which worked.
Yeah.
But then later, they let George undercut Hamilton, which they did before.
Whoops.
And then it puts Hamilton in the back foot again.
I don't think the Ferrari got lucky this week with Leclerc, because it should have been. I mean, if the safety car didn't come out, Max would have finished third. And that Ferrari's not a good car anywhere. Yeah, it hasn't. It showed up that one lucky sprint race that Hamilton won in China, which I hate sprint races. They make no sense. But I don't know. Ferrari's Ferrari. There's something wrong over there. Or maybe they're just waiting until next year. Like a lot of these teams. That's why I was so surprised with Hulkenberg yesterday, because the Sauber team, all the guys who have been there have only been there for a few months now. The ones who are actually running the team, like Jonathan Wheatley, and they seem to... that
Bonato.
car. Yeah, that car is getting better and better and better, because they are the Audi team, and Audi has they dominated, the World of Endurance Championship for, 40 years. I mean...
Well, people are saying, first they're saying, what is wrong with you and why do you keep coughing? That's what they're saying, 1. And then 2, they're saying, why didn't Carlos Sainz go to Sauber? Because it looks like that the Audi project... I mean...
We don't know yet.
We don't know. I mean, a lot of things have to go right for Hulkenberg to finish 5th in this race, without the safety car, blah, blah, blah.
But the Sauber project it smells of the Toyota project now.
But both cars, Bortoletto, he qualified 12th, which was his best qualifying. He finished 12th in the race. He looked really good. And Nico, because he went out in first round, he had a whole load of softs ready to go. So he had fresh softs to put on, and that tire differential, even though it's a Sauber, made a huge difference between him and Lewis.
Tires are 90% of the performance of these cars, and when they go off, they go off. I've only run a set of tires off once because my cart was broken, and it had a turbo lag when I was coming out of the corner. It was like, I'm just waiting for the gas to work, and so I just started sliding the car through the center of the corner. I had no idea where I was going to land. I was like, oh, this is not fun at all. I did that for like 10 laps in a row.
So they said that Lewis had floor damage on his car.
Well, because he went over the curbs.
But he's saying, and I think he forgets that he's a 7-time world champion, because every other race, it's either the best race he's ever been in or the best car he's ever been,
Or
or it's the worst car he's ever been.
There's
And I'm like,
there's
Lewis,
no middle ground.
I'm like, Lewis, you forgot about that 2010 and 11 McLaren?
Yeah.
That thing was a dog. What are you talking about, man?
But they had the best car in 2012, and they brought the wrong package to the car, and he bounced after that season, and then McLaren was in the dumps till now.
For a long time. Now, let's move on to your boy, Franco Colapinto. Flavio not happy with you.
Really?
Flavio not happy with you.
What, did he come over the radio and say that?
You look like Jack Doohan.
Oh, no. Did he say that to him?
What is going on with Colapinto?
I don't know. He's still a rookie. He only ran 5 races last year or something like that. These guys, you can't put somebody in a race car and expect them to be Michael Schumacher like. That just doesn't happen. It takes time. He's a good driver. Everyone knows he's a good driver. And if Flavio's not happy with him, okay, well then put Doohan back in the car and watch him flounder around. So we know Colapinto's good. He showed it last year. He showed flashes of it last year. He's just got to get lucky because he's not in the best car in the world either.
Well, I mean, you have Pierre Gasly finished 8th, and he keeps finishing in the points.
And Colapinto finished, 16th?
16th or
Yeah.
something. Yeah. 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th.
It doesn't matter. Anything over 11 is no good.
Now, before we talk about your favorite driver, Lance Stroll, I have to do something, and I'm going to do it right now. I'm going to stand up, and I'm going to point right here, and I'm going to say to Pierre Gasly, Esteban Ocon, and Isaac Hadjar, PSG, PSG, PSG. All right, I've done it.
What's PSG?
They won the cup. They won in soccer over the weekend.
Oh yeah, they were all at the soccer.
You didn't see all the fires and all the destruction that the PSG fans did to
I don't
Paris?
watch kickball.
It's not kickball. Don't call it kickball, or people will come after you.
I'm sure they will. I'm gonna need a
Lance
bodyguard.
Stroll.
That's very strange that he.
Did you hear about what happened to Lance Stroll?
He hurt his hand. He hurt his wrist again.
Did you hear how he hurt it?
Oh no! What's the rumor?
So he, after qualifying, when he's a half a second behind Fernando Alonso,
Okay.
he comes in to the pit. He's screaming and yelling.
Oh no!
He's throwing things. He's yelling and cursing at engineers. And he hits something.
Oh no!
And that's how Lance Stroll messed up his hand.
I did that once. I fought. I got in a fight with a wall and lost,
But
and I broke my pinky.
is that acceptable, Mike?
No, I lost my tongue.
Is that acceptable behavior by
Of course
somebody?
not. He's a Richie Rich. He is the actual definition of a spoiled Richie Rich. They're the worst people in the world, the single worst. And he ain't gonna be there next year. That's my prediction, because they're gonna make a place for somebody, because they're gonna need another driver.
I can see Max and you.
I could see Max going to
At
Aston
Austin.
Martin. Oh, absolutely.
I can see both of them going. there.
Everybody knows that seat with Lance Stroll is because at any time a Lawrence Stroll might sell his chunk of the team, and the second that happens, Asta baby, and then they'll have to buy another team and put him in, whatever. Maybe they'll get him in the Cadillac.
Maybe because it might
It's
be
not gonna go
the
fast,
writing
so-
might be on the wall for he has 2 weeks to get ready for Canada, and if he can't get ready for Canada, he done.
Well, I don't know. Didn't he hit one of his trainers last year in a it wasn't even a hit. It was just like
He came in and pushed.
It wasn't even a girl push. It was like, what? That he got suspended for that? What? I thought it was a fist fight broke out or something. It was like something. Jesus.
So Max finished 10th. He had qualified 3rd. Fernando Alonso, who everybody was cheering and racing, finished 9th.
It's his fucking. He's their guy. He's the only Spanish. Oh no, he's not. Science is a Spanish.
Science.
Yeah.
Right.
But anyways, he's the GOAT. He's still the GOAT. He's 40-something years old. He's still killing it. You go back. I was watching something about the old Renault, the one that won the championship in 2005 and 6, and he had this very strange driving style where he was, really getting on. And because they when they built that car, they did something with the rear suspension so he could oversteer the car into the corner and just He was the only one who could do it, though. It truly was his teammate.
Couldn't
do it. No.
Pierre Gasly did well. He finished 8th, qualified 8th, in an Alpine.
He's okay.
I like Pierre Gasly.
He's
man.
He's
I
a
like
number
Pierre
2,
Gasly.
but he didn't win one. And then of course he was at Red Bull, and what happened at Red Bull? He didn't
Isaac
even get
Hadjar, who's looking like the best rookie. He's looking better.
No, I don't.
He's looking better than Kimi right now, who keeps DNFing.
Well, that's not his fault.
Isaac Hadjar finishing in 7th,
Did he?
qualified 9th.
Damn.
Yes, he's
He's been waxing Lawson. So
And speaking of Lawson, when he makes... Okay, I know you're always talking about Yuki. Okay, he slides. That's what you always talk about. But freaking Lawson, man, when I'm watching him, when he makes passes, he's super clunky.
Yeah,
he's always knocking into people. He makes very clunky passes.
That's why there's a difference between a Formula One driver and someone who's not going to be a Formula One driver anymore, because he does stuff like that. That's why I say the same thing about Yuki and the same thing about Lance, that like they wobble through the corner too much, and you can't do that in these cars, especially the tires they have nowadays. If you see these guys when they're on their outlap for a qualifying session and they're like going like 20 miles an hour, it's because the tires will wear off, and unless you have a very delicate, that's why Max is so good, because he knows how to. You don't see him doing this stuff on the steering wheel. So you have to take care of your tires. It's all about the tires. It's always been all about the tires.
Hamilton finished in 6th and qualified 5th. Nico Hulkenberg, who should have got the driver of the day,
still doesn't have a podium.
Oh, man.
I had to throw that in there. I'm sorry, Nico. I'm sorry. If they get that team right, and because I'm afraid what's going to happen with the Audi team is what happened to the Toyota team, where they just keep replacing, like the same thing with Alpine. They just keep replacing people all the time. You know, you can't replace the senior managers. That's why Red Bull's so good. They have Christian Horner. He's been the only guy ever to be their principal. He runs the show, the end. Everybody needs some. But they have Wheatley over there now. And Wheatley was a really good strategist for Red Bull for a long time. And I think he was on the Stewart team, and he was on...
I think that's why Hulkenberg did so well. They had some good strategy. They had a lot of soft tires left. And
I don't know if Wheatley's the one... I mean, I know he's sitting on the thing on the outside, with
board.
Yeah, with the board with everybody.
Is
he in the garage, or is he?
Yeah, he was. He's in charge. I guess he's the.
Well, he's the.
So you got Bonato. Bonato's in there too.
He's the CEO,
right? And so I think Wheatley's the principal.
Well, no, Wheatley's the principal. He runs the team, and Bonato is he's like the politician in the band. So
then we got Gorgous George Russell.
Finished fourth,
qualified 4th. Kimi Antonelli, another DNF.
That's okay. It's his rookie season. He's
that engine just went boo.
That's not his fault. And that's weird though, because Mercedes don't blow up, so that's weird.
And that's his second blow up.
Are you shitting me? Oh, that's bad. That's really bad for him too, because they only get 4 engines a year, right?
Then we got Charles Leclerc looking into the podium. He got 3rd. He had pretty good pace.
Hey, it's good. It's
2 podiums in a row for Ferrari.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to be lucky.
Better be lucky than good.
That's right.
He qualified 7th. We got Lando Norris qualifying 2nd, finishing in 2nd, and then
God, he's just getting beat by Piastri. I'm sort of surprised by it, because Norris is good. He's really good, but I'm like, what the hell's going on?
Let's talk about Oscar. Talk about it.
He's better than I thought he was.
Qualified first.
I mean, his rookie season was last year, right?
This is 2nd season.
Okay, it's his 2nd.
This is his 3rd, right? No, it's his 3rd season.
No, because he didn't go to Alpine. He went to McLaren instead.
Right.
This might be his 3rd year.
I think this is his 3rd year.
Yeah. Anyways, he's the best. I'm surprised how he's beating Norris right now. I mean, he's just beating Norris bad. But Norris did get to win Monaco, so that's cool. And Piastri came in 2nd, so he's still leading the championship. But if he goes into a slump, though, you know how these things are. You know, he shows up at the next race and he blows up or crashes, and Norris wins, because it's going to be the McLarens are just going to dominate now.
Yeah, it's back and forth.
When we go to Amsterdam, they're going to kill at Zandorf. they're going to kill that. There's nothing Max could do there. There was too many tiddly bits there, and McLaren likes the tiddly bits, and they also like the high-speed corners.
You know, the thing about the tiddly bits is they had this new wing directive that everybody had to do for Spain.
Oh, yeah, they had to put
and Lewis says
100 kilos on each side of the wing.
And Lewis says it made no difference. The wings still flexed. They made all these teams spend all this money, and it didn't change the placing of the cars at all. It was just a waste of money.
Yeah, but that's Formula One for you. I mean, did they give him extra money?
No, they didn't, and they should have. And this goes to another one where
they have a
Ben
salary
Suleiman, the president of Formula One, is saying that they don't make enough money. That the FIA people don't make enough money.
They get that TV money. That's what
he's saying. They should make more money.
Oh my god,
the FIA, him and his cronies, should make more money.
All I know is Bernie Ecclestone is the smartest human being ever in the history of the world. He bought the TV rights to Formula One for $1 million. It's so, and he sold it for $4 billion. It's like so
what a
crazy.
Return,
like,
what a return on equity.
And I still think he owns some of Formula One, but he owned Formula One outright. He didn't have any partners,
and he went to everybody. And nobody wanted to do it.
All 10. There was like 10 teams he went to, and they're all just like, "Nah, you take care of the TV." And he was smart enough to know to make all the safety things, because watching people, because they used to do races in the 70s where a guy was like, because these cars used to be made out of magnesium, and you can't put those out with anything. So there'd be a guy just barbecuing on the side of it, and they would still, the race would go on. It's like crazy.
This show must go on, Mike.
And Bernie was really smart to bring in all the safety measures, because he saved a lot of people, a lot of lives. But also a lot of people getting hurt and burned. That was like the biggest fear used to be for people.
Well, that Halo.
Lovely.
Oh, the Halo. Remember when that came out? No one wanted it?
That Halo saved a lot of people.
Until Charles Leclerc, the car went over his Halo. And if that Halo wasn't there, he would have had no Halo.
Charles Leclerc.
He would have been seeing the Halo.
Even the Phoenix, Roman Grosjean.
Yeah.
All those major, even Yuki Tsunoda. And that major, actually, Yuki's had 2 really bad accidents. Yeah. And both times, that Halo saved these guys. Yep.
And the one they have for the Indy car, I think, is better because it's got a shield in front of it, too. But it's kind of weird that the Red Bull team designed the one for the Indy cars.
Right.
So, and the Halo, I don't know I forget who did that. It was one of the teams.
But remember, it's going to be so ugly. It looks hideous. And now, everyone's accepted it.
Well, they should have put a cover over the driver's head decades ago, and they did. If you look I saw something from the '60s, and they had like a bubble canopy, like on a fighter plane from that era. Mm-hmm. I'm like, they would have saved a lot of people's lives if they just had that thing on there, because that's what happened to Justin Wilson. It was like 10 years ago now, I think. A wing fell off and flew up in the air at Pocono, and it came down, hit him in the head, and killed him. So it was
Who was that again?
Justin Wilson. He was a former Formula One driver, and then he had found a lot of success in IndyCar, but it was like just a freak accident. A wing flew up into it came off a car, and it flew up in the air and hit him in the head. It was just, and if it would have had the Halo thing, he would have survived. Yeah, he would have survived for sure.
Wow. Talk more about Oscar Piastri before we end this episode of the recap of the 2025 Spanish Grand Prix. He's a very cool cucumber, Mike.
They all are, except Max.
But out of all the qualifying this year, this was the highest margin over Lando.
It
was twice as much of any qualifying all year.
Well, this track is probably one of the best tracks for a driver, because there's all these long corners, especially turn 3 and the last corner leading onto the straight, which I was very surprised. If you watched qualifying, you didn't hear too much lifting, but in the race they had to lift because they had all the gas on board, and that's what happened to Max. He came off the last turn and almost lost it on the restart. But this is a great track because there's the turn 3. That's like one of the hardest turns in Formula One, because they were doing it flat out. So, and you have to set the corner up just right. And there was a period of time in, I think it was the 2003 season or 2002 season, and the Williams, the back end was stepping out on that corner, and they got their old engineer Frank Durney and came in and put a new spring system. And he said the springs were too tight, too sprung in the back, and he loosened them up a little bit, and then they get through the center of the corner and they won the race. So, and Montoya never shuts up about that race weekend.
He always talks.
He's
about
like, we were gonna lose, sure as shit, and Frank Durney just comes in and like, oh no, we'll do this to it, and we'll win, and they did. So,
well, that ends our 2025 Spanish Grand Prix.
We never talked about the Monaco Grand Prix
recap. We're talking about Spain right now.
Oh, okay.
And we're saying the 2025 Spanish Grand Prix recap is over.
It's over?
And not only is it over, and Mike's going to buy me lunch.
We're going to McDonald's.
No, we're not. Donald Trump.
McDonald's.
So, with that note, join us in 2 weeks where we're going to do a preview of... we should go do a preview of the Spain.
No, we should go do the track in Golden Gate Park.
Oh, we should.
Yeah.
Canada's in 2 weeks.
Okay. It'll be like a Canadian Grand Prix because that track is in the middle of a park.
That'd be interesting. We could do the preview for the Canadian Grand Prix in Golden Gate Park. That would be interesting. I'm up for that.
Oh, well, you know what we should do is go...
Well, while you're thinking of what we should do, we can talk about that offline. And on that note, again...
Later.
Keep on.
Keep on.
Racing, everybody.
Well, we should do a show in the band show.
Gentlemen, can I please
That'd be
have your
kinda cool.
attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing
All right.